All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people of all ages, it's December 11, 2020. Uh, the end is near of the weirdest, strangest, and most enlightened year of them all because with COVID-19 restrictions, lockdown, and all the problems that attacked us, our lives changed during this year, and this year is finally over. A year that has been atrocious in some way, but that personally I think helped me personally and as me as many other to think more, to stay more alone, to think, to knowing better yourself, and to have another point of view about life and about the way we live our life in the west side of the world. Personally, I have had many tragic events this year, many familiar tragic events, but I can now understand the philosophical quote that I read many years ago and that I did not understood at that time because I did not have uh, contact with it, about the fact that not every bad things come to hurt you. Many times bad things come to make you more aware about yourself, more conscious about yourself, and to push you out of your comfort zone. But today I speak English, so this I try to speak a good and comprehensible English. Because I wanted that this video become international, become yes, become international, become full comprehensible by everyone. And today we are not here to speak about philosophy. We are here to speak about entertainment. We are here to speak about professional wrestling because it's that time of the year. Dave Meltzer is there with us, and also my United Kingdom Championship replica belt with all my merchandising like Wrestle Kingdom scarf, all the poster of WrestleMania 18, Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole, Undertaker urn is there, all my poster, etc. And we are here because it's that time of the year in which L'Amico Leonard, myself, does the year-end awards. So my personal Slammys, it's my ranking about wrestler of the year, match of the year, pay-per-view event of the year, moments of the year are subjective, of course. It's only my point of view, analyzing the year, the full year of professional wrestling, WWE, AEW, New Japan, etc., 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 NXT, Raw, SmackDown, and it's my subjective point of view based on the quality that I saw in the ring, emotions, and historical facts that happened this year. And I tried to make a ranking about the best wrestler, the best pay-per-view events, the best matches that I saw this year, the best female worker wrestler of the year. And I know that I'm doing this. Today is December 11th, but I'm doing this before tables, ladders, and chairs, and this is a shame because we have a good pay-per-view coming up as the year-end pay-per-view for WWE. A pay-per-view in which we have Randy Orton against The Fiend, we have AJ Styles against Drew McIntyre, we have Roman Reigns against Kevin Owens. So many of the matches booked for the card and the pay-per-view itself can become one of the best of the year. But I personally thought, in the way I feel, that for me this year is complete and it's time for me to do my Slammy and putting up which was the best moment, the most important moments, matches, wrestlers, highlighters, summarized of the year. Last year, my year-end awards video. Wow, it's been a rough year because thinking about the person I was and all that I lived this year, it seems to me that 1 year ago when I have done the Slammies were done by another person because everything that I went through this year, all the changes, all the events, tragic and positive, changed me in a way that it seems like 10 years ago, not once 1 year ago. So 1 year ago, the Slammy Award, year-end award, was too long, a too long video because it was 2 hours of video. This year I try to stay a little bit shorter and to explain my reasons about the Slammies and the rankings that I will give to the superstar, the sport entertainers uh, that have tried during this weird year to entertain us in our times at home. It's difficult to do this Slammy because the year has been divided into three parts, in my opinion. The first part with the Wrestle Kingdom, Revolution, all the shows that were with a capacity crowd. So we were live with a real crowd in first person in the arenas. The second part of the year after the first lockdown with empty arenas, with WWE trying to perform their shows in performance center with no crowd at all. And the third part of the year with the WWE Thunderdome, with AEW in Jacksonville trying to do shows with a small amount of person in the Daily's place, or with New Japan Pro Wrestling that Japanese are very very intelligent, very smart people, and they were able to defend themselves from COVID-19 so well that they were able to open the shows to public. So right now New Japan Pro Wrestling is the only real company that else shows with real crowd. I think it's half crowd that the full capacity of the arena, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so here we start with Wrestler of the Year. I show you my rankings. Okay, I have done this on my computer, one of my two computers. This is the one in which I write about professional wrestling, about everything. This is the one in which I watch professional wrestling. So, Wrestler of the Year, I put there on the from worst, from 10th to first, MJF, Seth Rollins, Orange Cassidy, Cody Rhodes, Finn Balor, Tetsuya Naito, Keith Lee, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Jon Moxley. MJF, why MJF? Of course, because MJF has been one of the greatest breakout star of the year. In the end of 2019, at Full Gear in Baltimore, he betrayed Cody Rhodes in the main event, in one of the two main events of Full Gear AEW against Chris Jericho for the AEW World Championship. And from that point on, he became one of the best, maybe the third, fourth best heel in the world, in my opinion. He is able to talk, he is able to wrestle, he is able to present himself. He have had some problems during the first lockdown. He have been under restriction for some weeks. He didn't appear to he did not appear to AEW, but when he was able to perform in the Daily's place, he has been great. He have wrestled a great match against the Jungle Boy in Double or Nothing. He have been a main eventer status level in AEW at All Out against Jon Moxley, in the main event against Jon Moxley. A great match, in my opinion, one of the best main event that AEW had during this year. And right now, he's in feud storyline with Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, and Sammy Guevara, Santana Ortiz, Jake Hager. So, in my opinion, as a commitment, as ability, and as a bright future, MJF deserves to stay in the top 10 best of the year. Ninth place is Seth Rollins. which, by the way, in my opinion, can be considered overall. I drink my cup of tea of green tea in my New World Order cup, which, by the way, Seth Rollins can be considered in some way the best overall worker of the year. As worker, as a complete package, total package, Seth Rollins has been fantastic. Has been great on the mic. He has been great in the ring with so many great matches, and he has been a workhorse for WWE during the rough months, during the first lockdown back in March to from March to July, the first difficult period about COVID-19. He has been quite possibly the highlight for WWE with his feud against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. His match against Kevin Owens has been pretty amazing. His match against Drew McIntyre in Money in the Bank, and his feud is a wonderful feud against Rey Mysterio. Wonderful in the first half of the feud, when the feud was about Seth Rollins, was about Rey Mysterio highs, in the eye for an eye match, Extreme Rules, or even when the feud was about Dominic, Seth Rollins has been a wrestling god. He was able to put over Dominic that is a garbage wrestler. He's not. He's nothing like. Is not. It's impossible to consider Dominic a real wrestler. And Seth Rollins was able to do a good match, good viable match at SummerSlam against Dominic. So, in my opinion, Seth Rollins is the best worker of the year, and quite possibly is the best worker in the world, or the best wrestler in the world. And I can think also. Let me get this straight. Let me get clear. I think Seth Rollins is the best worker in WWE history. I have never seen a complete package like Seth Rollins, and like the Seth Rollins during this year, because in the past Seth Rollins has always been considered a work rate machine with great matching Seth freaking Rollins, but he lacked about gimmick and personality. Right now, with the Monday Night Messiah, the Messiah persona, he has become the total package. Why is the only ninth? Because Seth Rollins has never been a main eventer during this year, except for the match against McIntyre. He didn't win any world title. He has been always in a feud that has been fantastic, but that has never been a main event feud. And in the end of this year, from his draft to SmackDown to today, cause also the fact that he was waiting Becky Lynch to give him birth to his first child, a baby girl, I guess. He has been really marginal. So he has been a constant for WWE this year, but he has never been the main eventer. That status goes to Randy Orton, goes to Drew McIntyre, goes to Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and not to Seth Rollins. So, in my opinion, Seth Rollins can be placed at 9th. That is good. And maybe in the future, Seth Rollins, with this persona of the Messiah, can become the true cornerstone of the WWE. So, going on, 8th, Orange Cassidy. Why? Because same reason to MJF, but with the other face of the medal. MJF has been a great breakout star as a heel. Orange Cassidy has been a great breakout star as a babyface. He has been really fantastic. His character, his gimmick, his personality, call whatever you want, is quite possibly one of the coolest and most original thing I have ever seen in professional wrestling. I personally hate comic wrestling, but Orange Cassidy can make me appreciate comic wrestling, because his wrestling is not comic, is somewhat of bizarre wrestling. And Orange Cassidy has been another one of the most breakout star of the year. I didn't consider it in this ranking Darby Allin, because in my opinion Darby Allin has been a breakout star, big as much as Orange Cassidy and MJF, but for some part of the 2020 has been really marginal. Orange Cassidy has been in the feud with Chris Jericho. He defeated twice Chris Jericho, once in pay-per-view at All Out. Chris Jericho is professional wrestling remida. So everything Chris Jericho touches become gold. And in this case, Chris Jericho at 50 years old put it over Orange Cassidy. And now we have Orange Cassidy that it's one of the best and most popular baby faces in All Elite Wrestling, and is one of the best top merchandise seller in All Elite Wrestling and in pro wrestling ties, professional wrestling in general. Seven places we have Cody Rhodes. Why? Because Cody Rhodes has been the leader of AEW locker room for so many months, has been the first TNT champion, has been a constant. What Seth Rollins has been for WWE, Cody Rhodes has been for AEW, in my opinion. Not the real main eventer, but the constant shadow, the constant, the constant presence in AEW. He won the first TNT championship. He defeated Lance Archer. He have done that fantastic dog collar match with Brody Lee. He put it over Darby Allin recently. So in my opinion, he have done the feud with MJF. So he, at the age of 34, 35, Cody Rhodes is able to being such a great veteran talent, to being able to put over MJF, to put over Darby Allin, etc. In my opinion, Cody Rhodes deserves for the work rate, for the commitment to be in this ranking. Sixth place, Finn Balor. It's all personal, it's all subjective. In my opinion, Finn Balor has been absent from TV screens for many months during the first pandemic lockdown. He has been away because he wasn't able to perform. He was restricted in his home in Ireland, so he wasn't able to be in NXT. He skipped the match with Walter at a takeover Tampa that was scheduled for takeover Tampa. But when Finn Balor was present in NXT, he was the main eventer, the top star in NXT, and everything he has done very, very well. His first run as a heel has been fantastic with the feud with Johnny Gargano, that fantastic match at Portland. His second half, his second coming in NXT has been also very good with the match with Thatcher, at the match with Damian Priest at In Your House, the put on the map Damian Priest, the match against Thatcher, and then the victory over the NXT Championship in the match against Adam Cole after the Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match, and the incredible match against Kyle O'Reilly in TakeOver 31. I love the fact that the Prince has become such a character that is not babyface, is not heel, and I love this thing because I think in the modern day of professional wrestling, we cannot have baby faces and heel. I love characters when they are more realistic in some way, so they have something of good and something of evil. Finn Balor is the prince, and right now he is a good guy only because he feuded with Pat McAfee, and he feuded against Undisputed Era before. And I love Finn Balor. I think as an in-ring competitor, in-ring performer, is the second best in WWE, only after Seth Rollins. 5. We have the fifth competitor, the fifth ranked is Tetsuya Naito. Why? Because same reason that for Finn Balor he has been out of the shins for so many months. New Japan has been closed for 5 months with no shows, only talk shows on New Japan World. But when Tetsuya Naito was there, was in was in the ring. He was the main eventer, and what he has done during this year is fantastic. He has been only the Tokyo Dome Wrestle Kingdom main event double championship victory deserve make Tetsuya Naito deserving of being in this list, because just only winning the double championship belt in Tokyo Dome in the 2 nights of Wrestle Kingdom makes Tetsuya Naito a must-see wrestler for 2020. And also his comeback with New Japan, his feud with Evil, and the lost and the regaining the double championship has been pretty good in my opinion. I don't like Evil. I think he's one of the worst wrestler in the world, but Tetsuya Naito himself has been great. And great things waits him for 2021, because as a power struggle went on, I watched it 2 days ago on New Japan World. I think that the two guys that went out of Tokyo Dome last year, one as the two main protagonists of the Wrestle Kingdom 14, will become the two protagonists of Wrestle Kingdom 15, because we have the guy that won everything, Tetsuya Naito, and the guy that lost everything, Kota Ibushi, one against another in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom 15. So, for place, we have Keith Lee, the limitless one, which, by the way, can easily be the first guy, the number one. But I think that Keith Lee, as NXT point of view, deserves to be number one, because he has done fantastic job in NXT. He won the North American Championship against Roderick Strong. He wrestled a fantastic match against Dominic Dijakovic at Portland, NXT TakeOver Portland. He has done fantastic. He has done very good as a North American champion, and then he won the double championship. The first and only man to won both North American and NXT championship against Adam Cole in the Great American Bash, and this thing is fantastic, and itself makes Keith Lee deserving the top three positions. But his passage on Monday Night Raw, his passage from NXT to Monday Night Raw to the main roster has not been so great in my opinion since to this day, because he went to Monday Night Raw in August in a very great way with the fireworks, defeating Randy Orton the day after SummerSlam, but then he went down, defeating Orton at Payback, sorry, but then he went a little down. Maybe in 2021, Keith Lee can easily win the Royal Rumble or become a number one contender for the Drew McIntyre title, WWE Championship. I don't know, but as the thing goes to 2020, I cannot make Keith Lee a viable player as much to take him to the top three contenders, because the top three men of the year has been number three. The third place is Randy Orton. Randy Orton, after 18 years of in-ring career in WWE, has done his best year ever. 2020, the apocalypse year, has been the year that enlightened everyone about the ability, the capacity of Randy Orton, because Randy Orton has been a legend, is a legend, but for some reason, the internet wrestling community, many guys in the internet wrestling community did not appreciate Randy Orton that much during these years of his illustrious career. 2020 made everyone conscious about the fact that Randy Orton is quite possibly the greatest wrestler of all time and one of the most prolific and legendary wrestlers, and he has one of the most prolific and legendary careers in the history of the business. This year he has done wonderfully well. He has done the magnificent feud against Edge that quite possibly can be the feud of the year. He has done a magnificent feud with Drew McIntyre with the WWE Championship on the line, uh, which by the way led to him winning the 14th WWE Championship of his career, becoming the third man to have held more more World Championship in the history after Ric Flair, John Cena, Triple H, and Randy Orton. Triple H and Randy Orton at the same position. Um, he's Randy Orton. He's fantastic. The only bad thing about Randy Orton here is the fact that when he won the title, his title reign lasted only 2 weeks, 3 weeks. He won the title at Hell in a Cell and he lost it before Survivor Series 1 month ago. But anyway, Randy Orton has been a top player. He has been a beacon of WWE year calendar year. Fantastic Randy Orton, and he deserves to be in the top 3 of this year, of course. Number second, I give this position to Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, you can switch the number 1 and number 2, is all subjective. I think Drew McIntyre has been pretty fantastic. I don't like him specifically. I don't get mad when I watch him in the ring. Anyway, I have to I have to say that Drew McIntyre has been one of the best, if not the best, the most the most overall present wrestler of the year. If you think about this 2020, the year of pandemic, the year of COVID, you think about Drew McIntyre. He won the Royal Rumble. He has been the first guy in history of WWE, in the history of professional wrestling, to do a door closed with no crowd WrestleMania main event against Brock Lesnar. He defeated Brock Lesnar. He defeated everyone. He defeated Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton three times with a single loss against him in Hell in a Cell. He has been fantastic. In my opinion, Jon Moxley, number 1, has been a little better. Maybe because Drew McIntyre deserved this spot, but it's still young. Compared to Jon Moxley, that has been a renegade for so many years in WWE, and that in 2020 finally became what he was destined to be. So the new Stone Cold Steve Austin, the new man that carried the professional wrestling into the promised land, the face of the All Elite Wrestling, the newest company in the world, and the face of the American wrestling in some way, in my opinion. Jon Moxley is number 1. Jon Moxley has been 2020. He has been champion, AEW champion, since Revolution, since last February, when he defeated Chris Jericho in Chicago, to last week when he lost the title to Kenny Omega. So it has been 10 months of reign of Jon Moxley in which he defeated everyone. Everyone in AEW has been defeated by Jon Moxley. Every contender has been defeated by Jon Moxley in fantastic matches, in which Jon gave everything he had. After his body is destroyed, he told us in an interview some weeks ago that he doesn't feel really well when he wake up in the morning, but he went out there every single time in Daily's place to stall the show, to give a great match, and to defend the AEW Championship against Eddie Kingston, against Kenny Omega right now, against Brody Lee, against Lance Archer, against everyone. Many people argued about the fact that Jon Moxley lost the title in a bad way against Kenny Omega, but I think that it was done to prevent Jon Moxley from a clean loss, and it was done to create Kenny Omega as a top heel in All Elite Wrestling. So this is my ranking for 2020. To mention that did not belong in this list, but that were very impressive during 2020. Braun Strowman, that has done a fantastic evolution from being the monster among men to being a more introverts, more complete character, more complete gimmick during this 2020 in a feud against Bray Wyatt. I did not insert Braun Strowman in this list because even if he won the title at WrestleMania against Goldberg, even if he has done a great title reign from WrestleMania to SummerSlam. After SummerSlam, it seems to me that Braun Strowman will return in the mid carding and is not destined to be a top face, a top name in WWE for the next years. Also, Roman Reigns is one to mention, but Roman Reigns has been out of the scenes, out of WWE programs from February, March, since August. So after his return, his evolution, his head of the table character, and his alliance with Paul Heyman has been fantastic. But there is a gap too long to insert him as one of the best of the year. Also, Chris Jericho has been good. Also, Jey Uso has been good. His evolution, but for him, there is the same logic that there is for Roman Reigns. Also, Kota Ibushi has been great because he won the G1 Climax for the second time in 2 years, second time in a row, and has been pretty good. But this is my list. Period. It's all subjective, guys. So, female worker of the year. We have number 10. Here we are. Shotzi Blackheart. One of the baddest bitches in NXT, in my opinion. I love her. She is hot as hell. He is great. He has a great personality, great charisma, great appeal, great way of looking and perpetrating herself. But she has never been, even in War Games 4, when she has been team captain for her team. She has never been the main event in NXT. So she break out too late during 2020 to make her top 5 contender for the Female Worker of the Year award. We have Hikaru Shida, number 9. She has been twice AEW champion. She has been AEW champion. She defeated twice Nyla Rose. I think that was impossible during 2019. Where is Rio? Do you remember Rio? I don't know where she is, but Hikaru Shida has been a great contender, a great champion for AEW. The only problem is that AEW have not a great women's division, so Hikaru Shida found herself to be a AEW Women's Champion in a division that is inexistent. We have number 8, Charlotte Flair, one of the most important female worker of the year. She won the NXT Championship. She won the Royal Rumble. She won the NXT Championship at WrestleMania. She, for a period of time, do you remember, she has been in 3 rosters at the same time. She has been appearing in TV tapings of Monday Night Raw, of SmackDown, of NXT in the same week. There have been the weeks in which Charlotte Flair competed as NXT champion in NXT, in Raw, in SmackDown, and this is amazing. Why Charlotte Flair is not in the top 5, in the top 3, top 4? Because Charlotte Flair, as Roman Reigns, there is a gap too long in which Charlotte Flair did not appear on TV screen to make her a contender for Female Worker of the Year or in a top 3 positions. After She lost the title at Takeover in Your House against Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. Against Io Shirai in a triple threat with Rhea Ripley. She disappeared from TV shows, so she has been great, but she has been great for a short period of time. So number 8. Number 7, Dakota Kai, quite possibly the greatest, the best workhorse in NXT Women's Division. How many matches, how many performances Dakota Kai has done? She has never been the highlight of the show. She has never been the top star in the NXT Women's Division. That, by the way, is the best women's division in the planet, of course. But she has always been present, and she has always done great matches. The most valuable match, the most important match he has done during this year is the one against Io Shirai at Takeover 30. We have number 6, Candice LeRae. Of course, NXT, Candice LeRae. Quite possibly the woman that has done the best evolution during this year, turning from the top babyface of NXT, one of the top babyface, to a hellish persona, alongside with Johnny Gargano in the Gargano Way, the Power Couple, and all the segments and the angles in Gargano home, in Gargano's house. And she has been amazing in the matches against Io Shirai, in the matches, in the leather match in which she won the number 1 contender for Io Shirai's title. She's great. She's great. I love her. I think she is quite possibly the best female worker in the world. I give her a 6th place because she has not been a champion. She has not been always a main event level superstar, but she is fantastic. Also, his feud against Tegan Nox, all his segment. With this new persona, with the Gargano Way, I think Johnny Gargano has been cut out from his Johnny Takeover persona. I think that the turning heel for Johnny Gargano has been a minus, not a plus for him. Otherwise, for Candice LeRae, the turn heel has been a plus, has been a major adjustment to her gimmick and her persona. 5th place, we have Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, the nightmare, the future of women's division, as Triple H said. She has been an NXT champion. She has been one of the most important, influential women in the business to these days. She has been the highlighter with Drew McIntyre of the fact of WrestleMania 36, because Rhea Ripley and Drew McIntyre were the ones that deserved and waited for WrestleMania to see their dream come true. One winning the title at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar, the other defending the title against Charlotte Flair. Both of them dreamed about this moment for a lifetime, I suppose, and they dreamed about this moment in front of 80,000+ people screaming and chanting in a big football stadium like WrestleMania should be. Their dream has been crushed by COVID-19, but she has been fantastic in ring. She has been important, influent in this year as none other, in many ways, none other woman in the wrestling business. I personally don't appreciate her that much. I don't think she's as great as they want to make us think, but she's good, of course. So Rhea Ripley is number 5. Asuka is number 4. Why? Because Asuka has been a champion in so many months, so many ways. She has been firstly, she has been a tag team champion with Kairi Sane and the Kabuki Warriors. After she has been champion, she has been Mr. Money in the Bank. She won the title via forfeit by Becky Lynch in Raw after Money in the Bank. She has been involved in great feud with Sasha Banks. She has been a constant in WWE. Her commitment has been appreciated by WWE. So Asuka has been fantastic, in my opinion. She doesn't deserve the top three because the top three are Bailey, number three, that has been the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion in history, and Sasha Banks, that has been the wrestling female god during 2020. Before as a heel in teaming up with Bailey. In Bailey does straps and Sasha to belts Banks, etc. etc. She has been SmackDown Women's Champion, Raw Women's Champion, Tag Team Champion, Women's Tag Team Champion. She has been one of the best in the world, male or woman, in the professional wrestling during 2020. But my first place goes to Io Shirai because Sasha Banks has been overshadowed in some ways by her gimmick with Bailey and the teaming up with Bailey. As a single competitor, in my opinion, Io Shirai is the top women's wrestler in the world during 2020. She has done fantastic matches against any woman from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, against Candice LeRae, against Dakota Kai, against Sasha Banks, against Bailey, in teaming up with Tegan Knox, winning the title against Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, Takeover in Your House, defeating Rhea Ripley 2 weeks ago in a fantastic match, quite possibly the best women's match of the year in my opinion. She defeated at Halloween Havoc Candice LeRae in a ladder match. Io Shirai has been what she is destined to be, so the best in ring competitor in the world as a female wrestling point of view, as a woman's wrestling point of view. So first place, Io Shirai for sure, in my opinion, even better than Sasha Banks. Now, here we go with match of the year. In this category, I think TLC can do a great ranking and fixing up some of my ranking because there are some matches that can quite possibly become match of the year candidate, like Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles or Randy Orton and The Fiend. But this is my ranking for right now. At the same 10th place, I wanted to put in this category, in this ranking, both Seth Rollins against Rey Mysterio and FTR against the Young Bucks. So these two matches are both at the 10th place, the 10th place, because there wasn't space and the places for any matches, but these two matches deserve to be called the match of the year candidate for 2020. FTR against Young Bucks at Full Gear has been pretty awesome. A match born by a tweet. A tweet about 3 or 4 years ago between Young Bucks and Revival. This is a dream match for tag team division. This was a dream match for tag team wrestling, a match that so many waited for so long, and when it became a reality in Full Gear 2020 last November, 1 month ago, it was what everyone thought about. It could easily be, so it was a show stealer, the best match of the night for Full Gear, quite possibly one of the best matches in AEW young history, and has been a great storytelling match, a great high spot match. Has been a total package for tag team matches. I don't specifically like and love tag team professional wrestling, but this match has others that I will quote in this category, in these awards, has been awesome. And All Elite Wrestling have had the privilege to make me appreciate tag team wrestling. FTR against the Young Bucks is one of the best tag team matches you can think about and that you will delightfully watch in your life. FTR against Young Bucks, number 11, but in reality is 10. At the same 10th position, I will give it to Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio at Extreme Rules. In my opinion, has been a fantastic match. No, not everyone loved this one because many thought that this match was overbooked, was too much cinematographic in some way, but I thought it was a fantastic match in so many ways. It was as a storytelling point of view, it was full of passion, hate, drama. He was great in the ring. Every spot was inserted in a great way. We have in the ring two of the best workers in the world. We have Rey Mysterio. It's not Rey Mysterio is not in his prime as an age point of view, but he's great. He's Rey Mysterio, the greatest luchador in history. And we have Seth Rollins that, by the way, I think, as I said before, is the best worker in the world. Is the best total package in the world. This match was fantastic. The end, the eye for an eye stipulation. I think that my expectation for this match were so low, so little, that I appreciated it so much, because I expected it to be a trash thing, and in some way it was a trash thing, but a garbage wrestling thing that make me so emotional. When I saw Rey Mysterio, I've been blinded. It's been a great scene, and has been a culmination for an epic feud that will go down in history as one of the best feud in WWE, in my opinion. Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins, with all the development and all the evolution of characters evolution that we saw, with Seth Rollins becoming Monday Night Messiah at his full, Rey Mysterio becoming more evil, more vengeful, and with the rise of Dominic Mysterio and Buddy Murphy as a disciple, and then as a babyface against Seth Rollins. Number 9, we have the Firefly Funhouse match. It's not a real match, but the creativity, the genius, the art, and the way to react to the tragic and depressive times that we lived during the first half of 2020 make me feel that this is one of the matches that deserve to be in the top 10 position. It's not a match, because Firefly Funhouse match has not been a match between Bray Wyatt and John Cena, but the creativity, the geniusness about Bray Wyatt, his ability to escape and utilize, in some point of view, the bad circumstances in which WrestleMania was done last April, in his favor, to do this masterpiece. This piece of art has been quite possibly deserving of an Oscar, more than a Match of the Year candidate. So number 9, Firefly Funhouse match. Number 8 is Boneyard match between Undertaker and AJ Styles. Again, this is not a real match. This is more a cinematographic match, but it deserves to be in the top 10 because, first, it was creative in a way, even more creative in my opinion than the Firefly Funhouse, because it was the first of the 2 nights of WrestleMania. So this is the first cinematographic match that we saw during 2020, and secondly because it was the last Undertaker match in his illustrious career. I am a big, huge Undertaker fan, as everyone that follow my channel and know me personally knows. And I was really, really shocked and really with the heart in my throat during the Boneyard match. I appreciated that match. Taker was so great. I think that even in this case, the fact that the WrestleMania was done with no crowd helped Undertaker to to overlook, to overshadow his his uh, his limits as a performer that he has during the last years has not been in his prime, in his full potential. But I think that he used this Boneyard match, these difficult times to create this masterpiece that is the Boneyard match against AJ Styles. AJ Styles has been fantastic. Undertaker in a sort of American Badass persona has been really great. And I loved this one. I love it even more than the Firefly Funhouse, and I think it deserves a better position in the ranking than Firefly Funhouse match because it's Undertaker last match. And Undertaker retirement is a fact that will shock the professional wrestling world and will make the world freeze for a long time. So Boneyard match number 8, number 7 is Jordan Devlin and Tyler Bate, an opposite match. In Boneyard match and Firefly Funhouse match we have storytelling, we have great creativity, great acting performances. In Jordan Devlin and Tyler Bate we have professional wrestling at its best, full in-ring performance, two of the best talents in the world, two of the best talents in NXT UK. Okay, two of the best talents in NXT UK, two of the best 205 live under 205 pounds performers in the ring at the same time in Blackpool. In front of a crazy crowd, as only the English people, or only the British people can be, in a fantastic ballet. I will call it a ballet. It was a match very similar to Ricochet against Johnny Gargano in Takeover Phoenix in 2019, and this one was a little less good. A little less in my rankings, in my ratings, because there was no title on the line. It was a pure single performance between two of the best high flyers in the world. They delivered a great match, in my opinion. It was fantastic. At the first time when I watched it, I didn't appreciate that much, but rewatching it some weeks ago, I thought this is one of match of the year contenders. Sorry, for sure. Number 6. Sorry for my performance. Number 6, we have Adam Cole against Tommaso Ciampa. Fantastic main event from TakeOver Portland. So much on the line, so much storytelling, so much drama, so many false finish. The night in which Johnny Gargano turned heel against Tommaso Ciampa in the fact that will lead to the final big match, one against each other in April in NXT. It was booked for NXT Takeover Tampa, but in reality Takeover Tampa never happened, so that match became a match for NXT weekly episodes, and it was a fantastic match, and Adam Cole Tommaso Ciampa was pretty awesome. Two of my favorite contenders, two of my favorite workers in the world, two of the best in NXT, quite possibly the two best in NXT at that time. Adam Cole was champion from a long time ago. He was champion since TakeOver 25, and he went into Portland with his back against the wall because he was against Tommaso Ciampa, the man that never lost the title in the first place. So Tommaso Ciampa wanted Goldie back, and this match was the perfect scenario for that to happen. I thought Tommaso Ciampa could win, but Adam Cole won because Johnny Gargano turned heel and turned against his former best friend, former enemy, Tommaso Ciampa. The one that started with him in NXT in the Cruiserweight Classic with the formation of DIY, Do It Yourself, and the one that wrestled some of the greatest NXT matches ever against him in TakeOver New Orleans, TakeOver Chicago, TakeOver Brooklyn 4, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano has been a classic, and Adam Cole and Tommaso Ciampa has been a classic as well, in my opinion. Number 5, we have Edge against Randy Orton. The greatest wrestling match ever was called. And Randy Orton became the greatest wrestler of all time because he defeated Edge in the greatest wrestling match ever. I really loved this match at that time in June when it happened at Backlash. It was phenomenal. It was full of story. It was full of wrestling history. It was a wrestling clinic. It was perfect. The intro of the match, the intro of the show, the pay-per-view Backlash was fantastic with all that match, great epic matches. As a prequel to this one, and the two performers, Edge and Orton, delivered a match that was perfect and fixed perfectly with the story they wanted to tell. With the two of them, they wanted to become the greatest wrestler of all times. With Edge that dubbed himself about his wrestling ability, and Randy Orton that was sure to be able to beat Randy Edge in a classic wrestling match with no gimmick matches. With no gimmick, with no last man standing, and any other stipulation possible. This was way better than their match at WrestleMania 36. That is, in my opinion, was not didn't reach the expectation because it was a last man standing that developed into a pure street fight in the backstage of the performance center. This one was fantastic. I can only imagine what this match will be like. What this match can possibly be if these matches happened in front of a live crowd, live audience, in first place with real people seated on the edge of their seat screaming for Edge and Orton. Has been really, really great. WWE in that period was trying to do some stuff to emulate, to simulate the presence of the crowd, the clapping, the "this is awesome" chants. This helped this match, and this match is a 9.5, 9.5 out of 10 in my opinion. It can easily be a 10 out of 10 with a live crowd, in my opinion. The two of them delivered a fantastic match, the best Randy Orton match ever. One of the best in Edge's career. I don't know because Edge wrestled so many great matches, but for sure the greatest wrestling match in Randy Orton's career. There is a t-shirt in a WWE shop about Randy Orton called the greatest wrestler of all time. A t-shirt that went out after this match because Randy Orton became the greatest wrestler of all time during this match and winning against Edge with a legendary kick, a pump kick. We have number 4. We have Undisputed Era against Team McAfee of last Sunday's NXT TakeOver War Games. I watched this match twice to be sure to give this 9.5 rating as being, in my opinion, a fantastic War Games. I don't love War Games. In reality, I hate War Games, but this match has been so good to make me love this stipulation. It's a stipulation really, really difficult because the match really starts after 25-30 minutes from the beginning, because it really starts when every competitor is in the ring. You know the rules about War Games. They delivered a fantastic match from any point of view. Undisputed Era has been fantastic. The storytelling has been great with Team McAfee that emulated the Four Horsemen, with Pat McAfee that emulated Ric Flair with the Figure 4, and they represented in a fantastic way what War Games it's all about. First in WCW with the Four Horsemen, and then in NXT with the Undisputed Era. There were some of the most insane spots I have ever seen. Pat McAfee has been fantastic. He has done a incredibly picture-perfect moonsault from the top rope on Roderick Strong. He has done incredible Swanton Bomb from the top of the cage. The story of the four tables with on the tables the names of Undisputed Era has been great, awesome. I loved everything about this match except for the ending, because in my opinion, uh, with all the drama, all the great sequences that we saw in that ring, that two rings in during that match, the the ending with the final pin with Cal O'Reilly hitting with a knee Oni Lorcan has not been the most dramatic and the most epic of the moments that we saw in the last 5 minutes of that match. The match, in my opinion, could easily end with the Panama Sunrise of Adam Cole that Adam Cole delivered to Pat McAfee, with the last shot on Oni Lorcan, with the Red Dragon finisher between Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish. The jumping knee from Cal O'Reilly has not been so epic, in my opinion. With all the fireworks that we saw, this was not a fireworks so delightfully great as the others. But this is a quite perfect match and by far the best War Games I've ever seen. I have not watched every War Games from past WCW, but this is by far the best War Games ever that has never been done in the best War Games in NXT history. Number 3, we have Okada against Kota Ibushi, Wrestle Kingdom 14, Night 1. Oh, what a match. What a moment to be alive. That one. The last time World was great was back in January. I was there in Wrestle Kingdom for Tokyo Dome for Wrestle Kingdom Night 1 and 2. I saw that match and it was really fantastic. I think that one between Okada and Ibushi in the first night of the Tokyo Dome has been the best main event in the Wrestle Kingdom history. Even better than the one between Omega and Okada in Wrestle Kingdom 11. Even better than the one between Okada and Tanahashi in Wrestle Kingdom 10. Better than the one between Tanahashi and Omega in Wrestle Kingdom 13. It was wow. It was New Japan Pro Wrestling at its best. Strong style, high-flying maneuver, Kota Ibushi at his best. And I right now, December 2020, really love the Kota Ibushi persona, the Kota Ibushi personality, because his story about the always second place, Mr. Second Place is Ibushi. It's fantastic, and it will lead to Kota Ibushi being the IWGP Heavyweight Championship one day. I hope at Wrestle Kingdom 15, before it will be to before it will be to as I can say, before it will be too late. Okay. Number 2, Royal Rumble match. Oh, what emotions, what a moment. Fantastic. Quite possibly the best Royal Rumble in history, in my opinion. What a night. That Royal Rumble, what a night, that Royal Rumble match. One of the... I restarted to get in love with professional wrestling, with sport entertainment in the late 2017. And since then, Royal Rumble 2020 has been the best pay-per-view WWE has done, in my opinion. It's been a pay-per-view so perfect, with everything fixing up so well, everything worked so well, and with a fantastic main event with the Royal Rumble, the return of Edge, Drew McIntyre eliminating Brock Lesnar dominance during the first 15 minutes of the round, 15-20 minutes of the Royal Rumble, and the end with Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, contender, battling for the Royal Rumble victory. By the way, the two last men in a Royal Rumble match this year are right now the two champions in SmackDown and Raw. Number one, first match of the year, we have, in my opinion, Kenny Omega Hangman Page against Young Bucks, AW Revolution. By far the best tag team match in wrestling history. When I saw that match, I thought, wow. I'm sorry. I thought, wow. To this match, Meltzer will give 6 stars. It's incredible as how much at the same point of being a professional wrestling fan, you feel when a match is a 5-star. You feel when a match is over the top, is something you have never seen. And Kenny Omega Hangman Page against the Young Bucks has been one of them, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan about tag team professional wrestling, as I said, but this match has been so great. I called it in one of my review the modern day end of an era match, the end of an era style match for a tag team division and for the being the latest storyline, because in this match we had the culmination of 8 years of friendships and of funny and great epic moments culminating in a match. We have 4 guys that has been best friends that created the Elite, which by the way led to All Elite Wrestling, battling in the ring 2-on-2, Young Bucks, the 2 brothers against Kenny Hangman Page in a fantastic match with a fantastic storytelling, with the use of so many great moments, great moves in the ring, with the Young Bucks delivering the Indie Taker, with Hangman Page delivering the chicken wing, the Marty Scurll finisher. Has been so epic, so dramatic, so great in a storytelling point of view that deserves to be the first. It's the only match that I gave 10 plus this year. I think every year I have a match which by the way I give it 10 plus. Last year was Adam Cole against Johnny Gargano at TakeOver 25. This year is Hangman Page and Young Bucks at AW Revolution. In 2019 was Chicago Street Fight, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Every year I have one match that deserves 10 plus. This year is Kenny Hangman Page against Young Bucks. Match of the year, by the way, in my opinion. So, we go to pay-per-view events of the year. What time is it? Pay-per-view event of the year. We have. I go really fast right now because it's 1 hour that I talk. Double or Nothing, number 10. Great pay-per-view. Great show, great main event with the Stadium Stampede, great match between Jon Moxley and Brody Lee, fantastic show. Not good as Double or Nothing 2019 because that one was such a feeling. That night was such a feeling of change, such a feeling of fresh air for so many professional wrestling fans that cannot be expressed in words. And in comparison to this year, Double or Nothing with no crowd cannot be compared. But Double or Nothing, even this year, the first AEW pay-per-view with no crowd under the COVID-19 era, has been really, really good. If you didn't watch it, go on Fight TV, buy it and watch it because it deserves to be watched. Hell in a Cell number 9, not such a good card overall, but with 3 great Hell in a Cell matches, one better than the other. We have Roman Reigns against Jey Uso in a perfect storytelling match in the Hell in a Cell. I quit Hell in a Cell match. I loved that one. I thought it was the show stealer that night. We had a great Sasha Banks against Bayley in another dramatic match in the Hell in a Cell. And we had Drew McIntyre against Randy Orton in the main event. Randy Orton Hell in a Cell was Randy Orton against Drew McIntyre was, as in ring point of view, the best one. But as a storytelling point of view, we had a fantastic Roman Reigns against Jey Uso. The good thing about this year Hell in a Cell has been the fact that every Hell in a Cell match was had a purpose. It was not done only because it was not done only because it was time for Hell in a Cell. it was done because that match, that feud deserved Hell in a Cell. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso deserved Hell in a Cell. Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton deserved Hell in a Cell. Sasha Banks and Bayley deserved Hell in a Cell. And I think Hell in a Cell should be done only when the feud is at its best as a climax point of view. By the way, Hell in a Cell number 9. Number 8, WrestleMania 36, because it was number night 1 and 2 as a total package, because it was this show shows to the world how WWE is great to create creativity and create great moments even in desperate times. This was the first pay-per-view since the lockdown, and was a pay-per-view that in my opinion was fantastic for so many reasons. WWE did a great job to do a pay-per-view with no crowd in the tragic moments that we lived during that months. It was a fantastic pay-per-view. We had the two cinematographic matches between Undertaker, AJ Styles, and Bray Wyatt and John Cena. We had Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, Edge and Randy Orton, Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins. So many great matches, 2 great nights of sport entertainment that bring joy to every heart in that period of uncertainty and of difficulty that it was. Number 7, TakeOver 31, fantastic card, one of the best cards in NXT history in my opinion. 5 single matches, one better than the other, with a fantastic main event between Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor that will go down in history as one of the best matches in WWE history and one of the best pure wrestling matches in the history of WWE. We have number 6, TakeOver War Games, this Sunday. Another fantastic takeover for NXT, 2 War Games, one better than the other, 3 great matches between the 2 War Games. The Women's War Games opened the show, the Male War Games ended the show. We have 3 great matches in between. We have the Tachak versus Ciampa that has been fantastic. We have the match between Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis that the internet wrestling community hated and that criticized a lot, but that in my opinion has been a great match. And we have the triple threat in which Johnny Gargano won the North American Championship against Leon Ruff, The Joke, and Damian Priest. We have a Full Gear number 5, fantastic show. We have FTR against Young Bucks, Kenny Omega against Hangman Page, the rise of the Cleaner that right now is AEW World Champion and is the hottest man in professional wrestling. We had Eddie Kingston against John Moxley in a fantastic I Quit match with Eddie Kingston entering the ring with a ring gear that it was the same that Mitsuharu Misawa the same as the one of Misawa back in All Japan Pro Wrestling. Fantastic show. I loved the show. Darby Allin winning the TNT Championship. All the stories were really good. We have number 4, AEW Revolution. What a show! The second last pay-per-view with the crowd, I think, because then we had Elimination Chamber and then we had no crowd at all. AEW Revolution was really awesome. John Moxley winning the AEW Championship, Hangman Page and Kenny Omega against Young Bucks, and many other matches, MJF against Cody Rhodes. Great match, great card, great show, great night in Chicago. TakeOver Portland, what a way. It's difficult to do a pay-per-view ranking because we have pay-per-views with crowd, with no crowd, with half crowd. So I tried to do a logic mix, logic fixing up, but it's impossible not to mention and not to put on top the pay-per-views with a crowd. We have NXT TakeOver Portland, that in my opinion can be one of the top 5 takeovers in history. A fantastic crowd in Portland, a fantastic card, starting with Keith Lee against Dominic Dijakovic, ending with Tommaso Ciampa and Adam Cole. By far between we have every match was I think a 4 and plus star by match by Dave Meltzer. We have Finn Balor against Johnny Gargano. We have the Broserweight against Undisputed Era. We had Rhea Ripley against Bianca Belair. A fantastic street fight between Dakota Kai, the rise of Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox. Fantastic takeover. Really, really, really awesome. Number 2, we have Royal Rumble 2020. I told you minutes ago that in my opinion Royal Rumble is the best pay-per-view WWE pay-per-view I saw since my return as a fan of sport entertainment. We had so many pay-per-views and I think WrestleMania 35 that I went there live in MetLife Stadium was one of the best, but the Royal Rumble was so perfect. Everything worked so well that night. The Edge return, the ending between Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair winning the Rumble, Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt in the strap match. Pretty awesome. Quite possibly the best strap match in the history of WWE. The one between Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt. We had so many great matches and so great emotion, because in the end, professional wrestling, it's all about emotions. Number 1, we have Wrestle Kingdom 14, night 1 and 2. What to say about that 2 incredible nights? I was there in the Tokyo Dome, and I think that in the history of professional wrestling, it's hard to find something comparable to that 2 nights in the Tokyo Dome. New Japan Pro Wrestling in that moment was at its own peak, and it was a culmination of a journey of 7 years journey since the new rise of professional wrestling in Japan in 2012, in 2012, to this day. Everything led up to a show like this. 2 nights in the Tokyo Dome with a sold-out crowd, with Japanese fans screaming and chanting, something that is not happening every night. And the card and the lineup really awesome, with every match that could possibly be the show stealer. We had John Moxley against Lance Archer in a Texas Death match. We had Will Ospreay against Hiromu Takahashi for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. We had Okada against Ibushi. We had Naito against Okada the night after, night 2. Jericho against Tanahashi. So many great matches, so many great memories. The Jushin Thunder Liger retirement. Fantastic 2 nights. Kenta winning a Night of Fiesta. What a time to be alive. Top moments of the year. Here we go. The last award that I give this year. Number 11. In the same position as number 10, FTR is AEW. The arrival of FTR in AEW, because AEW is have the best tag team division in the world, and FTR coming to AEW is a fantastic choice, and led up to a fantastic reign as tag team championship, and a fantastic match against Young Bucks, and a fantastic match against Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Number 10, Charlotte wins the NXT Women's Championship. We are talking about WrestleMania. We are talking about the opener of WrestleMania Night 2 against Rhea Ripley. What a moment. The Queen returns to where it all begins. Again, winning the NXT Championship for the second time. We have number 9, Roman Reigns heel turn. SummerSlam and the SmackDown after SummerSlam, his heel turn, him becoming the top heel of the WWE, him aligning with Paul Heyman. What a night! What a booking decision that led to Roman Reigns becoming the best version of himself. Roman Reigns has always been good, always been one of the top name of WWE, but with this version of himself, fixed perfectly and found finally himself as the best version of himself. Number 8, Seth Rollins blinds out Rey Mysterio at Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank, because this moment will lead to one of the most important storylines of the year, with Seth Rollins against Rey Mysterio, and will lead to the final great run of Rey Mysterio in his illustrious 30-year career. Number 7, we have Jushin Thunder Liger in the final at the Tokyo Dome, Wrestle Kingdom. The retirement of Jushin Thunder Liger in Tokyo Dome, and in New Year Dash the night after, and the retirement of one of the best junior heavyweights, one of the best cruiserweights in the world, one of the greatest innovator in the history of professional wrestling, the one that invented the Asai Moonsault, the Liger Bomb, one of the greatest legends in the history of Japanese professional wrestling and of professional wrestling in general. So much respected, so much beloved. This moment is epic. Number 6, last week, Kenny Omega, new AEW World Champion. Reassume responsibility, as a sign said at a Daily's Place by a fan. This moment is a culmination of 2 years' journey. Kenny Omega is finally becoming what he is destined to be. So, the leader of AEW, of All Elite Wrestling, as the single competitor. Young Bucks are the Tag Team Championship. Kenny Omega is the AEW champion. The 3 members of the Elite now rule the All Elite Wrestling. Number 5, Jon Moxley is the new AEW World Champion. What a moment. Jon Moxley finally, after years of frustration in WWE, as Dean Ambrose is left behind, and he can become what is destined to become, so the best and the greatest renegade in professional wrestling, becoming AEW World Champion against Chris Jericho at AEW Revolution in Chicago back in February. Fantastic moment, fantastic man of the year, one of the top moments of the year. Number 4, Naito wins the double championship at Tokyo Dome, defeating Okada. Also, this is another moment that culminated after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years of journey for Naito. 4 years of construction, of build-up to that moment. And this is the great fact about professional wrestling, about sport entertainment. The big crescendo, the big build-up to a great moment like that. Naito winning the title after so many years, after so many failures during his Wrestle Kingdom history, and now becoming IWGP Champion, Intercontinental and Heavyweight. Number 3, Drew McIntyre wins the Royal Rumble. What a moment. I wanted to insert into this ranking also Drew McIntyre winning the WWE Championship against Brock Lesnar, but the match was so bad, it sucked so much, that I think Drew McIntyre winning the Royal Rumble is the perfect example of what Drew McIntyre is all about. His victory in the Royal Rumble was fantastic. The Royal Rumble match, as I told you before, was fantastic, and that moment was epic. Drew McIntyre winning the Royal Rumble is number 3. Number 2, The Undertaker farewell. The greatest legend in sport entertainment history, the greatest legend in WWE history, finally lacing up the boots and finally leaving the hat in the ring, and finally making his legacy, his illustrious legacy, rest in peace after 30 years of career. This moment is a combined moment between the Boneyard match, the Last Ride documentary that I have not watched yet, and I think I will never watch, and his moment in Survivor Series last month, 3 weeks ago, when he came out to the ring after a great celebration to him by all the legends, by Vince McMahon, to say that his career is finally over and his legacy finally can rest in peace. Number one moment of the year, in my opinion, personally, is Edge return at the Royal Rumble. Undertaker, I am a big fan of about the Undertaker. Farewell can be number one, but Undertaker retirement is a thing that has been anticipated in the last 3-4 years. Undertaker is trying to retire his career. Is trying to rest in peace from so many years that, in my opinion, it's the final tombstone on his career. This one, it was a moment that was created in the years from the end of the era, WrestleMania 30, and then with the match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 33 in Orlando, that in my opinion was the perfect farewell for The Undertaker. It did not happen, so it happened this year, but Edge returning at the Royal Rumble was something insane, something unimaginable, something impossible to imagine. It was fantastic. It was what we as a sport entertainment fans live. We live for is what we live for. Pure raw emotion, pure adrenaline. When I heard about Edge music, Metallicus all these days in the Minute Maid Stadium in Phoenix, I never thought it could happen. A man that 9 years ago retired from a neck injury, and then after all the drama, all the personal difficulties to living behind the wrestling business, returned after 3 neck surgery on himself, returned to perform another one last chapter of his career. I will forever remember, and I think it was the best promo of the year, Edge saying that he wants to retire, but to retire at his own way. He doesn't want to retire by being forced to retire. He wanted to retire at his own way, and I hope that he found his own way to retire against Randy Orton, and with all the return and the drama that has led to his retirement. It's weird. It's incredible the fact that a junked personality to the crowd reaction like Edge did not add the possibility to hear his music at WrestleMania and hear the crowd reaction at WrestleMania for him. I think it's the incredible fact about life, as everything sometimes happened in a weird way. The man that retired himself 9 years ago get out from retire because he doesn't want to allow an injury to force him to retire. He wants to retire himself in his own way at WrestleMania, and WrestleMania is without a crowd. And he said he's a junkie for crowd reaction. Life is so strange, and we have to live life and don't understand life. We have only to live. These are my Slammy Awards for 2020. A weird year, a strange year, a year that passed by, and for some point one of the best year of my life. For others, one of the worst. I think it could be the same for any of you that are listening and watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you think the same about my opinion about some of the best and worst about this year. In this case, only the best. Other moments that could be mentioned are the Gargano betrays Ciampa, Orton betrays Edge, their Sting arrival last week in AEW, Cody winning the TNT Championship, Evil turning against Naito, but these are the moments, in my opinion, that defines 2020. Has been a long way, has been a good ride doing these Slammy Awards. and I think I can leave something of myself on YouTube about my passion for sport entertainment and for professional wrestling in general. Killing the business. Happy 2021 for everyone. Sport entertainment forever. Professional wrestling is the best thing on the fucking planet.